You wake up and the first thing you do isn't brush your teeth. It isn't check your messages. It isn't make coffee. You check your betting app. Still no miracle. Still no jackpot. Still no life-changing win. Just numbers. Numbers that have been controlling your life for years. You tell yourself it's just curiosity. Just a quick look. Just checking. But deep down, you know better. Because normal people don't wake up thinking about odds. Normal people don't spend breakfast calculating parlays. Normal people don't wonder if tonight will finally be the night everything changes. But you do, because somewhere along the way, gambling stopped being entertainment and became hope. You are 32 years old. You live in a small apartment outside Cleveland. Nothing special. A couch, a television, an old refrigerator that makes strange noises at night. The kind of place you always promised yourself would be temporary. 5 years ago, you were certain you'd be somewhere else by now. A bigger apartment, a better car, a better life. Instead, you're here, still chasing, still believing the next bet will fix everything. It didn't start this way. Nobody plans to become addicted. Nobody wakes up one day and says, I want gambling to take over my life. At first, it was harmless. A few dollars on football, a few dollars on basketball. Just for fun. Everyone else was doing it. Then one Sunday afternoon, something happened. You won. Not a huge amount. Maybe a few $100s. But it felt different. You didn't earn it. You didn't work for it. You clicked a button, waited, and money appeared. Your brain never forgot that feeling. Now it's years later, and you're still chasing that first win. The problem is, the feeling never comes back. Not really. The wins get bigger, but somehow less satisfying. The losses get larger, and somehow more normal. Soon you stop gambling to win. You start gambling to recover, to get even, to undo yesterday, to fix last week, to erase last month, but the hole keeps getting deeper. You know exactly how much money you've lost. At least, you pretend you don't, because the real number scares you. Credit cards, loans, borrowed money, paychecks, tax refunds, savings, gone. Not all at once, a little at a time, the way water slowly sinks a ship. The strange thing is, your life looks normal from the outside. You still go to work. You still smile. You still pay some bills. You still answer texts. Nobody sees the panic. Nobody sees the nights you stare at the ceiling. Nobody sees the betting slips hidden on your phone. Nobody sees the anxiety every time your bank account gets low, which is often, very often. The worst part isn't losing money. The worst part is lying. You lie to your friends. You lie to your family. You lie to yourself. You say you're fine. You say you're managing it. You say you have a system. You say you're in control. But if you were in control, you wouldn't be watching games you don't care about at 2 a.m. You wouldn't be sweating over players you've never met. You wouldn't be praying for miracles every weekend. One day you finally check the total. Every deposit, every withdrawal, every loan, every credit card payment, every dollar, the number hits you like a truck. You sit in silence, staring at the screen, trying to understand how it happened, trying to understand how years disappeared, trying to understand how hope became addiction. For the first time, you don't place a bet, not that day, not the next day either. The urge is still there. It screams. It tells you one more bet could solve everything. One more chance, one more game, one more miracle. But you've heard that voice before, thousands of times, and it has never told the truth. Recovery isn't dramatic. Hollywood gets this wrong. There is no magical moment, no instant transformation, no inspirational music. Instead, you wake up, you go to work, you pay a bill, you make a small payment toward your debt, you eat dinner, you go to sleep, then you do it again, and again, and again, day after day, week after week, month after month, slowly, painfully, boringly, but honestly. Some debts take years to repay, some relationships take years to rebuild, some trust takes years to earn back. That's okay, because for the first time in a long time, you're moving forward, not chasing, not gambling, not hoping for miracles, just moving, one step at a time. And one day, you realize something. The life you were trying to win can actually be built slowly, patiently, one paycheck, one honest day, one good decision at a time. No jackpot required, no miracle required, no bet required, just you. Showing up again tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that. Because no matter how bad things are, you can still stop. You can still change direction. You can still rebuild. And sometimes, the bravest bet you'll ever make is betting on yourself. Then comes the big win, the one you'll remember for years, a Sunday night, a seven-leg parlay. Every game hits. Every prediction is right. You stare at your phone in disbelief. $3,000. Just like that. $3,000. You feel unstoppable. You walk differently, talk differently, think differently. For the first time in years, you feel ahead. You pay a few bills, buy yourself something nice, take your friends out for drinks, and for a moment, life feels easy. But that's the problem, because your brain doesn't remember the money, it remembers the feeling, and now it wants more. A few weeks later, you're betting larger amounts, then even larger. The numbers stop feeling real. $50 becomes 100. 100 becomes 500. 500 becomes 1,000. The wins feel normal. The losses feel temporary. You convince yourself you're investing, studying, learning, building a system. But deep down, you're guessing, the same as everyone else. Soon every game matters. Sports you never cared about suddenly become important. Australian basketball, Korean baseball, tennis matches taking place on the other side of the world. You find yourself awake at 3 a.m., staring at a screen, watching strangers compete for money you can't afford to lose. Your friends start noticing you're distracted, always checking scores, always refreshing apps, always looking at odds. You stop enjoying conversations. You stop being present because half your mind is somewhere else, waiting for a result, waiting for a payout, waiting for salvation. Then comes the first loan, just temporary, just until payday, just enough to cover losses. You promise yourself it won't happen again. It happens again, then again, then again. Soon you're juggling payments, moving money around, borrowing from one place to pay another, digging deeper, hoping nobody notices. One night your mother calls. She asks how you're doing. You say everything is fine. You almost tell her the truth. Almost, but you don't, because admitting it would make it real, and you're not ready for that, not yet. Months pass. The debt grows. The anxiety grows. The shame grows. You stop opening certain emails. You stop answering certain phone calls. Unknown numbers become terrifying, because they might be another creditor, another collection agency, another reminder of what you've done. Then comes rock bottom. Not dramatic, not cinematic, just quiet. You sit alone in your apartment. The television is on, but you're not watching. Your account balance is nearly zero. Your credit cards are maxed out. You haven't slept properly in weeks. For the first time, you stop looking for another bet. You stop looking for another miracle. You just sit there, exhausted, and you finally admit the truth. This isn't bad luck. This isn't a rough patch. This is addiction. The next morning feels strange. Nothing has changed. The debt is still there. The problems are still there. But something inside you is different. For the first time, you're done running. You delete the betting apps. Your finger hovers over the screen for a second, then they're gone. Years of habits, gone in seconds. The silence feels terrifying and freeing at the same time. Recovery is boring. Nobody makes movies about boring, but that's what recovery looks like. Wake up, go to work, come home, pay a little toward your debt, repeat. No jackpots, no adrenaline, no miracle wins, just progress, tiny progress, the kind that doesn't feel important until you look back years later. Eventually, you notice something. You're sleeping again. You're laughing again. You're making plans again. Not fantasy plans, real plans. The kind built with effort. The kind built with patience. The kind that actually last. Years from now, you'll still remember the losses, you'll still remember the mistakes, but you'll also remember the day you stopped, the day you chose reality over hope, discipline over desperation, work over wishing, and that's the day your life finally started moving forward. Not because you got lucky, but because you stopped waiting to get lucky and started building something real. Never forget it's never too late. And never forget your family who, no matter what strange roads you walk, still stand by you. There are no former addicts. There is still an addiction, whatever it may be, but it's part of our life and we have to live with it. Find happiness in the simple things, love each other, and always remember those who are your home, no matter what. This is our journey and we live it every day.